we're going to take you to something a little bit different. These guys first reached out to me in 2019, and ever since that first conversation, I've been mesmerized by their energy, their vision, their resilience, because they face many challenges. And what they want to do is they want to revolutionize Africa's airspace, and they want to help African countries keep more of what is owed to them from overflight fees, and also improve safety, security, and infrastructure as well. Now, to take you through this session, we're going to have Captain Gilbert Kibe join us. Now, you will all know Captain Kibe because he was the former Director General of the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, and he's the East African Ambassador for SATAM. So he's got a couple of hats, and he actually loves wearing a hat as well. But he's a revered industry professional. He's somebody I look up to massively. He has huge humility as well. And he's now actively involved in this project. So he's going to be joined by Thomas Coulson from Navpass. But as they join us on the stage, we're going to play a short video welcome from the CEO, Tom Perkins. And then Susie will play before Captain Kibe takes us through. So if we can run the video.
Hello, Namibia. Wish I was there. I was really looking forward to this trip. The AVIDEVs, which we've been associated with now for, good Lord, was it 5 years? Are always great trips, not only for the camaraderie and the immersion into aviation, but they're always very cool locations. This one I was looking forward to. Navpass, well, Africa. We started in Africa as a bit of a trip in 2019, and now we're there. It's become part of us. And got a couple people there today, Thomas Coulson and Gilbert Kibe, who are going to get up on stage and tell you about an amazing project. The Greenfield Cooperation PPP, working with the South Sudan Civil Aviation Authority to create their sovereign airspace. So please take some time, listen to these gentlemen, and we look forward to answering any questions afterwards. And look forward to see you at the next AVIDEV.
Thank you, Susie. You're the best. Susie and her band are just great. Jambo and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Jambo is hello, in case you don't know Swahili. So welcome to this session of ours where we're talking about leaving money on the table, investing in safety and infrastructure through the efficient collection of overflight fees. But let me start by looking at this topic from a broader perspective. I want to talk about Africa. But the first thing I want to say is that air transport is the single largest enabler of economic development in all countries in the world, Africa included. When you look at the size of Africa, it's 30.4 million square kilometers. The United States, China, all of Europe, India, and Japan combined fit inside the continent of Africa. That's the size. And what is the contribution to air transport in Africa? It is only 2% of global traffic from the largest continent in the world. So that is a major challenge, and the African Union, through its Agenda 2063, that was highlighted very eloquently yesterday in the introduction by the CEO of the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board. Agenda 2063 came up with 16 flagship projects that were going to propel Africa to the first world, so to speak. Now, of these 16 flagship projects, there are 3 that are key that will propel us to that position. Number 1, the African passport, free movement of persons, where Africa will become visa-free to all Africans. Number 2, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, where when it is implemented, there will be free movement of goods and services in Africa among Africans. And number three, very importantly, is SATAM, the Single Africa Air Transport Market. SATAM mandate is to make Africa a one sky. That means that for African carriers operating in Africa, it should operate as domestic flights. In simple terms, that's what it means. Therefore, the taxes, fees, and charges of airlines operating in Africa should be reduced to a domestic level, and in many cases, it's like a 90% reduction in taxes, fees, and charges. If we do that and we begin to implement SATAM in Africa, the $50 ticket will arise. The $50 to $100 ticket will arise through airlines like Jumbo Jet. The legacy carriers, Kenya Airways, South Africa Airways, etc., you're looking at $150, $200 tickets in Africa. What will that do for the movement of persons in the African continent? We'll be able to visit each other at an affordable price. Lagos, from many places, is $1,000. But what if it came down to $300? How many more people will be able to travel? So that is just the wide perspective. And I'm saying that because I'm a SATAM ambassador of the Eastern region, 14 partner states, under the Africa Civil Aviation Commission. And we're very fortunate to have with us the ambassador for Central Region, Noel Ngala, who you all know. He's responsible for 10 states. We also have Edmund Makona, the Southern ambassador, and I know he's around, and he looks after 9 partner states. So the 3 of us represented here represent 33 African states. So let's now move to our topic. I'd like to invite the managing director of Navpass, Thomas Coulson, to come on stage. Give him a hand. Welcome, Thomas.
Thank you.
Have a seat.
Sure.
I'll sit next to you.
Switch.
So, Thomas, welcome to Namibia.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here.
Good. Tell us, who is Navpass and what do you do?
So basically, in a nutshell, Navpass works with civil aviations and governments to help collect the navigation fees, and then work with the civil aviation to invest those fees that are paid by airlines to improve the services and connectivity, safety and efficiency, and according to ICAO regulations.
Excellent. So you're operating in Africa. Why Africa?
Well, Africa, just as you said earlier, I've been traveling together with my partner, the CEO, Tom Perkins, to Africa. In previous lives, a lot within Africa. We've always been in aviation. And we saw exactly what you're saying is that the connectivity within the country, sometimes we had to go back to Europe or to Turkey to actually fly within Africa. And we started talking with various civil aviations about the challenges that are faced, that I imagine have been discussed at great length here. And we felt that Africa would be the place where we could do the quickest, largest impact to affect changes.
Excellent. Very good. So you zeroed in on the Republic of South Sudan. Tell us a little bit about your experience in South Sudan. When did you enter that market?
Right. So South Sudan we came across South Sudan, and one of the issues they had was a typical issue of many government civil aviations. We want to do this, we want to improve safety, we want to provide training, we want to equip radios, etc., etc. However, we don't have the money. So we set up a public-private partnership, basically together with South Sudan, and on that found funding to start off with a TMA and then go to get the upper airspace,
Yes.
using money that comes from overflight fees, that is turned around to benefit the airlines.
Excellent. Well, that sounds like a good thing you're doing for South Sudan CAA. So that means that whatever equipment is required to be able to fulfill those airspace objectives, you guys are able to assist the government to come up with such modern equipment. Is that correct?
No, absolutely. So always, in the case of South Sudan, which is the country in focus, we set up a public-private partnership with the South Sudan Civil Aviation, and it designated a portion of the funds that are collected.
Yes.
And together with them, we administered as administration to purchase the equipment, provide the training, and provide the salaries and everything else that is needed to make the airspace function so the airlines can fly.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, doesn't that sound like a very useful program? This is great. So we only have about a minute left.
Yeah.
Our session was the most brief. It was only 15 minutes. So we have a minute to go. Why don't you leave us with your main message?
Right. The main message, I think, is to say that there's a benefit, and the civil aviations and the country's governments can work with the airlines to actually make function and be mutually supportive. So the fees that are being charged, if they're reinvested in the airspace to improve routing, to improve efficiency, to save fuel for airlines, that's a benefit to airlines. It cuts their costs. And most airlines we find that we deal with, when they see the benefits, they're more than happy to pay. And this is money that's not coming out of some government budget. It doesn't have to be taken away from schools. This is money that has been designated by ICAO and the Chicago Convention, that the overflight fees should be invested in maintaining and running the airspace that everybody flies through.
Thank you very much, Thomas.
Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this session. So, my main message that I would like to leave with you is as follows. When this PPP with South Sudan came up, in the month of April, on the 16th, I was asked to become a board member of the SSCAA PPP program. So I accepted, so I'm actually now a board member of the PPP. So from a global view that I used to look at it from 2018 when I first met Navpass, and now with an inside view, what Thomas is saying is true. The features and benefits of that PPP are absolutely extraordinary. So if you have a problem in collecting fees, talk to these guys. They could help you out. And so the other very, very important thing that is going to happen in the next month or so, Thomas at Navpass and the South Sudan CAA, working with ICAO, the East and Central Africa Office, ESAF, are going to introduce the latest flight information region. It's in July or August. You will hear it in the news. The newest Juba FIR will come into existence. And South Sudan will be independent in everything that is related to civil aviation. It will be a proud moment for us. And as SATAM ambassador, I know that South Sudan are SATAM implementers, and they will do it. And that will result in exponential growth and development of aviation in Africa. And I thank you very much.